It's the Brian and Kindra Show with Brian Cook and Kindra Cox of Keller Williams Realty Elite.
I am Kindra Cox.
I'm Brian Cook.
Between the two of us, we have over 30 years of experience.
Sharing real estate tips and advice. Right here on Classic Hits 1073.
Hey, it's the Brian and Kindra Show. I'm Brian Cook.
And I'm Kindra Cox with Keller Williams Realty Elite.
Yes, we made it today.
Man,
We've been
barely.
all over.
Branson and I are like, our topic today, Branson's like, I don't know anything about that. I can't talk to you about that. I can't do this. I'm like, well, I don't really think I can. I've teased you about the Kindra Show, but there is no Kindra Show.
Well, next week.
Nuh-uh, next week. Already? It's not next week, is it?
Yeah, next week.
No.
Next week is the Kindra Show.
When are you leaving, boss?
Thursday.
You are?
A week from today.
Oh, I am way messed up on my
man.
schedule, aren't I?
It's going to be.
Okay, so next Thursday is, it's going to be fun.
Yes.
I think next Thursday is the day. Is that the day I scheduled?
Good luck.
No, I've got to look at my calendar. I think next Thursday is the Mike and Kindra Show.
Yes, sweet.
I wonder if Mike's listening, because I wonder if he remembers. Hey, Mike, this is your warning.
7-day warning.
So next week we're going to talk surveys on Point Land Survey.
Okay, cool.
Yes. And then I'm trying to figure out who's going to be the next week when you're still gone.
Okay.
Can I have a 2 or 3 week long vacation too?
Yes.
Yes, he said on the radio. That's always my goal. Can I have a raise?
So today we're talking about...
I thought, man, that was way easy. Earlier today, he suggested I sell my Jeep if I wanted to take vacation. That's not funny. Okay, so for reals, though, I'm going to have like the Kindra and different people shows while you're gone. It's going to be a blast.
We do have one pre-recorded show that needs to play.
We're going to use it in June whenever Branson takes vacation.
We've already done that.
Yes, that's what
You can't take
Woodward County.
vacation.
Woodward, I can't even say it. My watch just told me to breathe. That's how nervous you made me. I texted Brian 3 minutes before the show started and said, okay, you're making me nervous.
I was locking up a house in Briarwood.
You said, me too. And I thought, oh no. All right, I'm breathing.
So we're here. So it's been an interesting week. And today we went to a realtor meeting in Enid, and it was kind of fun. We took the mic with On Point with us.
Caitlin runs the office kind of like I just kidding. I do not run the office. I mean, I might boss you around sometimes, but certainly not the
I
office.
have to be bossed around because I forget where I'm going.
Man, I was working hard while you were gone.
Yeah, I was shocked that you didn't text me earlier
not run the office.
to see where
I said it, didn't I?
at.
I told Branson, I'm starting to sweat it, and I really would like to go ahead and ask him, but I know he'll be like, I'm coming, and so I didn't.
No.
Yeah, it was kind of scary
I
stuff.
wouldn't have heard it anyway. My phone was in the truck.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so we won't do that again until next week. Oh, wait, I won't be here. So we've got some fun things I've got to teach you by next week, like how to set up the camera.
Oh no, I can't do that. That's technical skills.
How to upload it to the,
that's not for me,
interweb and get it on the other pages. That's all.
No,
there.
No.
So yeah.
That's Laura's job.
Oh, she's going to come here and do that, huh?
Maybe she'll be on the radio too.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be it. Yeah. So, we're going to talk a little about rent to own today and some lease to own, and just give you some terminology, some information about that. Kind of, we don't do that much of that. I've been involved in lots of those, but they're complicated, and the majority.
Don't talk about them yet. We're not ready.
So yeah, the majority of litigation that happens is in rentals and rent-to-own stuff.
Interesting. I'm excited about it. I've got some questions for you.
Great.
Okay, your market stats. You kind of started reading those to me this morning, and I said, wait, don't tell me. I want it to be a surprise.
So, it's an interesting week. It's been a really interesting week. So, in the last 7 days, there are still 69 houses on the market. There's 5 new listings. There are 23 pending in Woodward. So it puts, like a third of the houses are under contract. What's crazy is 2 houses in northwest Oklahoma went under contract this week.
Like, that's it, is what's the crazy part.
2.
As opposed to 7 last week.
Yeah, 7, 6, 10, 5. That's like the last 4 or 5 weeks. We only had 4 closings and only 1 closing in Woodward last week.
Compared to last week, 5.
5. And the week before that was 10.
That was a crazy week, though. That's not common.
Well, we had another 11 up there. So,
yeah,
it's not common, but it's
6 or 7 weeks ago.
It's been a weird It's been a weird week.
It's felt a little bit more
I don't know
slow.
if it's graduation and end of the
I don't
school
know.
year
I was
or-
kind of panicking, but then yesterday you brought me a contract, and I've written a couple this week that just aren't signed yet, I think. Which
Yep.
means you've got some work to do.
I got several days.
No, we don't have several days. We're just going to get stuff done.
Yep. So,
All right, so, today though, after you did your stats this morning, it always is amazing to me, like, after you do your stats, how many different things start showing up on the MLS. Like, by the time we were at lunch, there was a couple other listings.
yep.
Yeah. So, all right, so we are going to talk about rent to own in just a little bit.
Mhm.
And is there anything else that you want to talk about before we take a little break?
Nope.
Okay,
Yeah.
we will be right back.
Comfort Zone is a multi-generational company serving Northwest Oklahoma in commercial and residential needs. Plumbing, air conditioning, heaters, refrigeration, sewer and drain cleaning, backhoe trencing, and crane service. And they are your geothermal specialists. Contact them at 580-254-5864 or stop by 116 East Main Street.
It's the 5 hours you spend in the kitchen mastering your famous recipe or spending quality time with your family. Other insurance companies may just see it as a house. It's not just a house, it's your home. Hi, I'm State Farm Agent Kevin Kanzler, and I see your home as the time and memories you put into them. I understand what your things really mean to you, and I'm here to help give them the protection they deserve. My office is located on the corner of 13th and Oklahoma and Woodward, or call me at 580-256-2216 for your home insurance today.
On Point Land Survey can take care of all your residential, commercial, and industrial survey needs. This family-owned and operated business proudly serves Northwest Oklahoma and Southwest Kansas. These lifelong Northwest Oklahoma residents with over 19 years of experience are ready to serve you with the latest equipment and capable trucks to get your job done. Call On Point Land Survey today at 580-256-6757 or at 1918 Main Street in Woodward, Oklahoma, or visit their website at onpointlandsurveyok.com. Professional, trusted, local.
This is Todd McHugh
Jackie Jones,
and Flor Castro.
with Woodward County Abstract. Thank you to all of Northwest Oklahoma for letting Woodward County Abstract handle all of your real estate closing and title needs.
we provide real estate closings and title insurance for all of Northwest Oklahoma.
Pasen a verme para todas sus dudas y preguntas sobre bienes raíces. Con gusto les explico el proceso y estoy disponible a cada paso de la transacción para asistir con lo que usted necesite para cerrar su contrato.
We appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Connie Rowland in the mortgage department at Bank 7. Bank 7 is a full-service bank with over 40 years of combined experience. Melinda Russo and I are a dynamic duo team committed to making your loan process smooth. With a variety of loan products, we would love to sit down with you and discuss your loan options in person, or we offer online and over-the-phone application processing. The Woodward branch is located at 34th in Oklahoma. Find us online at mortgage.bank7.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Bank 7 is an equal housing lender in MLS 677297, phone 580-254-0100, where our best investment is you.
All right, we're back. And Tuesday is the annual chamber banquet meeting. And it's going to be Taste of Woodward. So a bunch of different restaurants will be there serving up their catered, cool, different varieties of foods. So get a hold of the chamber if you guys want tickets to that. That'll be a fun event. People say there's nothing to do, but that night it'll be like, hey, honey, where do you want to eat? Whatever she says, you win. Just take her, because it'll be there. See?
That's a brilliant plan. You're
It
taking
is.
your wife out, huh?
There'll be something there she can eat. It'll be great.
All right, so also last week, talking about fun community events, we like to support our Woodward Main Street, and so we went to the Main Street Banquet. Kevin Kanzler's ad just reminded me that he was so gracious to bring me Jake from State Farm so I would have a +1 at the dinner. And I just want to say, like, Jake did really well.
He was quiet.
He was so quiet. Like, he's really not much of a conversationalist.
Kind of stiff.
But he smiled. Yeah,
Didn't
he
listen
seemed
that
a
much.
little, he didn't listen that much, but he smiled all night.
He did.
I mean,
Didn't
not
eat?
one time.
Didn't make a mess.
Didn't make a mess. No, not at all. I mean, he was, and I appreciate that. I was a little nervous about him not knowing him and stuff, and I appreciated how you allowed him to sit on the other side of you. So
Yes.
it was Jake, Brian, Carrie, and Kendra. That really helped. But we did get some pictures. Good pictures, Jake and I.
Yes. So check
Yeah.
out Kendra's Facebook page.
I got to tell you, Jake's a little shorter than I thought.
Oh.
I know. I really thought Jake was a little taller.
Maybe when
And-
they built the cardboard on the bottom.
Cardboard?
Oh.
It wasn't real. Thanks, Kevin. We always appreciate you. That was really fun.
Yep.
Until I got a text message a couple mornings later that said, "Hey, Jake won the chair on the silent auction," and I thought, "Hey, I'm not paying Jake's debt."
I mean, he didn't even pay for his own way in.
Man. I tell you, I think I'm going to keep trying. Okay, so that was fun. Cracks me up. What else have we got?
I don't know what else is going on. There's all kinds of school stuff going on. It's into school.
Man, tonight's all sports banquet.
Yes.
Yeah, so as soon as we finish, we have a super fast appointment, and then
Yep.
you're headed there.
Racing there. Mm-hmm. Yep. So
Okay, I don't even know when the last day of school is.
it's like next Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, man,
Tuesday.
that's coming up fast.
Next Tuesday, because it's the same day as the banquet thingy. Yep.
Oh, cool. I
On
had to
Tuesday.
think for a minute what you're talking about. The
Taste of
Chamber
Home.
Taste of Home
Yep.
thing.
Taste of Woodward.
All right,
Taste of Home's a
so
restaurant.
Amanda Bronner just said I had the perfect date. I don't know.
He was cheap.
You know,
Light
I
conversation.
attempt dates that are... Never mind. I don't know how to say it the right way. I don't know. Okay, let's move on.
Okay. Rent to own. So most everything we do, I mean, like 99% of what we do is basically a purchase home. And somebody pays cash for the house, or they go get a mortgage loan from the bank. So that's what we generally do. So I haven't seen many of these go through lately around town. We had one over in Fargo about a year ago that we helped a customer get done. So, and there's reasons for them, and there is a place for them. Just be very, very cautious. In fact, several times that we've done these, we have even stepped out and hired an attorney to write the contract, just because can be lots of loopholes and miscommunications, and you want it all in there. So, rent to own.
So rent to own is rent to own is something. I mean, I have very little knowledge or experience with, and in the past, you and I have talked, and I mean, I'd been really kind of a negative Nelly about rent to own, and you kind of called me out on it, and were like, "Hey, there's a time and a place for it," and so I think this is a good conversation to have.
Yes.
But there's some things to pay attention to, and there's some advantages and disadvantages of. I think, do you want to talk about sellers first or buyers first? Because there's two parts
There
of
is.
a rent to own, just as there would be
Either one.
in sales.
So, well, let's start buyers, because in 2000, I moved to Woodward, and I bought a house, but I found an investment property I wanted. And the bank was very reluctant to loan me money. And the owner said, well, why don't I just carry the note, which really was a rent to own.
Right.
So I didn't even know what I was doing. So we just a one-page agreement that says I want to pay so much a month, and at the end of whatever it was, 2 years, I would own the property. And I gave him $1,000 down, and I just started making payments. We have the signed agreement. It was very unofficial, and luckily his word was worth something, and my word was worth something,
Right.
and so it worked out. What doesn't work out is when there's an issue with integrity. I mean, because it can
Absolutely.
really go south fast.
Okay, so one of the misconceptions that I think I had with rent to own, I think there's a couple of different ways to do it, but it seems like more creditable establishments that do rent to own, they require a down payment. And I think I always thought rent to own meant that you're in for nothing, or you're in for the same as maybe a rent deposit. And that's not necessarily the case. Do you want to talk about that?
So, and they're going to talk about lease with options, lease purchase, rent to own, contract for deed. Those are all different things.
Okay.
But kind of the same. Okay. Or like an owner finance. So, so it goes back to the language they use. So
They being the seller.
the seller, yes, or the buyer. So we've had people call the office. In fact, I've had one now that's like, hey, I just want to do a rent to own because I don't want to be committed. I just want to pay, but I don't want them to kick me out.
And to me, that sounds like rent.
That sounds like rent, but they don't want they don't know if they'll be there 3 months, 3 years, 7 week, whatever. They just want to start paying rent, but they don't want to ever get kicked out. And if they pay so many months, then they want to own it. Well, that doesn't work. Really, that's dumb. Those aren't real anymore. Yeah, that's not a real. No. That's not a very good contract, and it's not a very good way to do it
because it's renting.
It's renting.
And it's not ownership.
Right. So, so a mortgage. So an owner mortgage would be somebody like I would loan you the money to buy the house, and then I would go file a mortgage at the bank. I mean, at the courthouse. So that's an official document. You own the house. I own or finance it. I filed the mortgage.
Right.
So I became the bank. So it's the same thing as kind of what we do now, because we have lenders for that. But so that's a pretty safe way to do it. It's pretty risky on the seller's side.
So let's pause for 1 second.
Okay.
So if that's the same as the bank, why would I even do that? Why would I use you as my bank instead of going to Connie at Bank 7 and using Bank 7 as my lender?
Well, right now, mortgage companies are kind of messed up in that I can't even get a mortgage right now. I bought a decent sized house. I had 20 to 30% down. I can't get a mortgage without going secondary. I end up having to get an investment style.
I have to push back on your
Okay.
words. You surely see this coming.
Oh.
They're not messed up, but they have some strong restrictions.
Yes, they're
and
restricted.
that is not without reason. I mean, we've seen crazy things back in the 80s. There were crazy things that happened with mortgages, and then again around 2008, we saw some crazy. I moved into a house at 100% conventional loan, and frankly, when I saw the appraisal, I thought, wow, that appraiser did me really good.
Right.
And-
And I did a no doc loan.
Yeah, it's
I
insane.
called the bank and said I want to buy this deal, and they pulled my credit and gave me money.
So luckily, you're a good borrower, and I was a good borrower, and so that didn't hurt our banks. But imagine all the other people they did that for that are not good borrowers. So
Right.
because of that, lenders have really strong restrictions.
Yep.
So it's not that they're messed up; they have stronger restrictions
Yes.
than we'll work with contract laborers. A lot of times, self-employed. Those kinds of things, they get tricky.
They do.
So that's really where you are, self-employed. So, okay, so now back to that. So that's why one would do an owner finance in lieu of
Right.
a mortgage, a secondary market mortgage or a bank mortgage.
Right. So if you have a really strong buyer, it's got plenty of money down, like I really just had to file my 2020 taxes, and then everything should come out fine. And in 30 days, I can get a home loan. But I changed companies and did some things last year, so I had to get my stuff correct for the bank, so it fit into their guidelines. So if you're not in that, so owner finance or a rent to own for a short term because of, hey, this guy's got 20% down. He needs 6 months before he can
Right.
refinance or purchase or whatever. Or I got to sell a house in New Jersey before I buy this house.
Right.
There are reasons. We just got to do your homework on all of the background stuff and make sure
Absolutely.
it's great for both parties.
Right. Okay, so that's an owner finance, and then you also mentioned a lease with option to purchase.
So right, so they have what's called a lease with option to purchase. So that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, where they just kind of start renting the property, leasing the property. They're responsible for more of the repairs, and they're taking on more ownership of the repair aspect and updates. But at some point, they have an option period. So like at the end of the 12 months, they have the option to purchase it. But all of the rent is just rent. It's rent until they purchase it. And they have the option. They can exercise the option. In there, sometimes they'll have a fee for that. Well, I'll lease you the house for $1,000 a month, and in 12 months, you can give me $10,000, and you can purchase the property for $100,000. So you have the right to exercise your option.
So why is this beneficial to me?
Again, it'd have to go back to you can't get a loan on a house. That would be the main thing, and you need a home. So the stability. So we've had some arguments. We've had some agents who are 100% anti-rent own, and there are just instances. I've been involved in many, and the people we deal with. I'm a big fan of home ownership.
That's probably good on your line of the work.
Yes. And so we've had some people come to town and just, not quite got their finances together or their work together or whatever it is, or they can't afford anything that's on the market. And we've put them in a home.
Right.
And I've handed over, we've signed deeds over many times because they fulfilled their part of the contract. We fulfilled our part of the contract.
Right.
Now, did I make a bunch of money? Well, I made my rent. I didn't have to fix anything, and then I did get top dollar for the house. I think everything was. Of course, my goal was getting someone into a home, and then I didn't have to repair it either. Like I didn't have to fix nothing.
Right.
So that's the benefit. That's another one of the benefits.
Okay, what were some other things? Oh, deed. What did you say? Contract for deed.
Contract for deed. So a contract for deed is the same. A contract for deed is like an extended close. So they'll put. They may say, all right, in 5 years. So it's like a rent-own again, or but you actually have a contract that you can file at the courthouse.
Right.
So it's you actually do. You have some ownership in the
We
property.
don't see a lot of these.
Not anymore.
And I think
lending
maybe in
has
this
opened
area,
up quite a bit.
do you agree with that?
Yes. Well, I've talked to an investor from here, Northwest Oklahoma, that probably did 150 last year.
Really?
Yes. He doesn't live in Woodward, but his owner finance, his rent-to-own, lease-to-own option stuff is Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and they did 150 last year.
That just blew my mind a little bit. Wow.
And he said it was a lot of people that were moving, couldn't afford 2 mortgages, according to the underwriters, but had some cash. And so they took the risk, put the cash down, purchased a home, and then they had a 12-month, 2-year, or when their other house closed. It kind of helped them in the interim of the purchase. So, again, it was a great deal. Now, that guy, when he showed me his system, I thought, man, he was charging 10% interest, which is really good money, and he had a 2.5% or 3% origination fee on the contract that he wrote into the contract. So, man, but it's a lot of risk.
It is a lot of risk. And I think, so whenever we think negatively about the rent owners, usually we think negatively about the owner is the deal, the seller, I guess.
Yep.
And I think that's important to recognize is it's a tremendous amount of risk. It is a huge risk for me to put somebody into my house and trust that they're going to pay the rent or the mortgage if I'm owner financing, to trust that they're going to take care of it, to trust that their dogs aren't going to chew up my doors or that their cats aren't going to mess everywhere. I'm just saying things like, I'm not saying that only cats mess, just in case there's cat people who are like, hey, lady, the darn kids. They might have an Ethan and an Anya.
Yeah, we had one that they let their insurance lapse and the house burnt down.
Oh, no.
So, it wasn't my responsibility.
Interesting that you say that. So that's one of the things, going back to that contract, who pays for the homeowner's insurance? Who pays for property taxes? Those kinds of things. Can I sublease it? So if I'm in a contract for deed with you, can I sublease my house?
Depends what your contract says. It's all back to your contract.
So there's a lot that goes into that. But going back to the risk of the seller or the owner, it's important to remember whenever we look at those, a lot of times it's funny because we all want to make money or we all want to be comfortable financially, but sometimes we get a little bit persnickety when somebody else is comfortable financially. Yes. And I think that's interesting. That's just a general observation, but for us to remember, it's a huge risk to put somebody else in your house. And so rent to own would be a risk.
Yes.
As a seller. But we can see would be beneficial.
You almost have to foreclose on them.
If you do an owner finance, you do.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If you file stuff at the courthouse, you've got to.
Yeah, if you language it right in your lease to own or your lease to purchase or any of that, some of them are, you do have ownership of the property. Right. And you can claim ownership and then they have to foreclose on you if you don't pay. And you may want to I want to give it back to you. But you just can't. There's a fee involved and money or deeds have to change. It can get real sticky.
Absolutely.
So, we need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to give you some more information.
Homeowners and business owners, do you want to know how to extend the life of your home or commercial building? Call APC LLC in Woodward. APC specializes in installing high-quality 5-inch and 6-inch seamless guttering and custom commercial guttering. Whether it's a small system or a large system, APC can help. Call APC LLC at 580-571-2384. That number again is 580-571-2384 for all your seamless gutter needs.
Our home is usually our largest investment, and we insure it against damage. One unseen destructive force not covered by most insurance policies is termites, which can infest a house for years before being detected. Termites cost U.S. homeowners an estimated $5 billion annually in treatment and repairs. Using the Centricon termite bait system, JCP Services can protect your home from the threat of a termite infestation. Call 580-334-5380. Again, 580-334-5380.
Stop in to Modern Appliance on Main Street today to see powerful Maytag brand kitchen appliances available in a finish inspired by cast iron. Cast iron black is a hard-working, matte finish that is as tough as it is timeless, so you can trust it to help resist scratches while helping hide fingerprints and minor dents and stand up to the everyday. Add an iconic look to your home with cast iron black kitchen appliances from Maytag brand. See it at Modern Appliance, 2102 Main, or online at modernappliancewoodward.com.
For 150 years, Sherwin-Williams has been an industry leader in the development of technologically advanced paint and coatings. As the nation's largest specialty retailer of paint and painting supplies, Sherwin-Williams is dedicated to supporting both your do-it-yourselfers and painting professionals with exceptional products, resources to make confident color selections, and expert personalized service that's focused on your unique project needs. Sherwin-Williams is your neighborhood paint store. Stop by and see them, 2101 Oklahoma Avenue, or call them 580-256-5861. Yeah, we're back. And so we've been...
This is the Brian and Kindra Show. I'm Kindra.
Yes.
You're Brian.
I'm Brian.
Okay, you're like excited now. We
just need like 3 more shows of this.
Oh, I don't think I can handle 3 more shows of this.
So much information.
Okay, so we're talking about rent to own. And so, again, like whenever we first talked about this, when I first started working for you, I was like, no, it is not good. It's never good. I don't like it. I don't trust it. Like, I was just super negative. And you're like, chill, girl. Not really. You don't talk like that.
No, but I want to go introduce you to someone that I handed a deed over to that we did a rent to own for, and they were super happy. And then they sold that house and bought another house. They ended up in a...
It helped to set them up for success, didn't it?
Yes, yep.
So one of the things that I've been able to... I mean, I could hear your stories, and those were exciting, and I trust you. I believe you. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit better.
I got some horror stories, too.
And I don't want to talk about those right now. Okay, what I want to talk about... So probably 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more, you came in and you said, okay, I've got a buyer for this particular property, and that buyer had been doing a rent-to-own arrangement. And they had a contract, and they had put some money into the property. They had put up a fence or something. I don't remember all the details. Regardless, they were able to have a good, solid discussion. They left the property in good condition.
Yes.
Had a good conversation with their owner. I'm struggling with the words, but that is the owner. And were able to be released from their contract.
Yes.
And were even given back some proceeds from that because they had done their part, and they had done their part well.
Right.
Does that happen every time? Absolutely not.
Nope.
But it totally restored my faith in humanity, I guess. I mean, for just a minute until it was destroyed again. But, I mean, it made me feel a lot better about the process, and to recognize that with a solid contract, with a reputable company, that things can go right. Things can go well with a rent-to-own situation.
Right. So
and now they own a bigger house.
Yes.
That fits their family, and it's so exciting.
It was. And so we're going to be involved in another one here very soon. We helped them. They came in. We set them up with a one that worked perfect for them. Kind of one thing fell into another. It's a property we were actually having a little complications selling.
Sure.
And so they said, hey, we want it. We want to be in there. We want to be in that location for a long time. We think this will be perfect. Whatever. I think they put $5,000 down, which would have been like, they didn't have any closing costs, because on a rent-to-own, there's no closing costs. It's just, here's your check, here's this, here's the keys, move in. It happened very quickly. It happened like Thursday. They moved in Friday afternoon, because a rent-to-own is a rent situation. But they did call. They got transferred. So here's the bad part of that. Luckily, they have a good owner.
Right.
The owner's going to let them out of the contract without holding them to pay it out, because they got paid more. Now they're probably not going to get their down payment back.
Okay, wait. As in a different situation, the owner could have filed a judgment.
Yeah, so they could they could foreclose on it,
okay,
because it is a contract.
Okay, so everything was filed at the courthouse.
No, you don't have to be filed.
Can you foreclose if it's not filed?
Absolutely, it's a contract.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Well, I just learned something, y'all.
So or you can go to a small claims court because they didn't honor their contract. I mean, there's lots of options there.
Okay.
And so that's why you need to be careful. So they're more likely going to let them out. Now they're going to go inspect the property, make sure it's ready to sell again.
Right.
And if they do a good job, this owner might be like, hey, you know what? Thanks for your hard work. Thanks for your time. Here's $1,000 of your money back, or none of it, or all of it. You know, he has some options there, because if you're dealing with somebody with integrity and flexibility, there's always options. You can always negotiate. I mean, and so take care. I mean, if you take care of the property and take care of your owner and keep them informed of what's going on, then there's just lots of good options there. So this guy, yes, they're going to lose their down payment probably, but here's the other thing: they don't have to worry about putting their house on the market and selling it.
Right.
They can just move. Like, oh, whoops, this isn't going to work. We hate it. We're going to move on. The owner's going to let us out of the contract. They don't have to pay. You know, some people lose money when they sell houses if they weren't in it long enough. Well, these guys, they're out. They just walk away. They didn't lose any more than they put into the house, and they're gone.
I think my favorite part, though, I'm changing back the subject again, is I just keep thinking about those success stories that they didn't have the credit, they were not able to get a secondary market mortgage, and are able to move into a rent-to-own or contract for deed or any number of these things that we're discussing. And because of that, it gave them a stepping stone so that they could continue to work on their credit while having a home to live in, and then refinance and buy it out.
And I think if you're going to do it, I think the answer is if you're into a rent-to-own contract, or you need to be working on a way to buy it out and get into a secondary market cheap interest loan.
Right.
The secondary market interest loans are so much better than the rent-own
Right,
interest
they
rates.
are.
I would always be looking that direction, working on your credit, because your credit's going to get your interest cheaper. It's all going to be cheaper.
Right, absolutely.
So, well, there's so much information here. If you are getting into a rent-own contract or looking at a rent-own, we highly advise you to go talk to an attorney. You can come ask us some questions. We will answer them, but we will always say, please go check with an attorney, because there are so many different variables. The Oklahoma Real Estate Commission has put out a contract that we use in just about every purchase that we do. It's very standard. We know it's in and out we know it very well. And so it's easy to defend and argue. So we just want you to know that. If you have questions, please call us. Phone number is 580-334-2303. And we will talk to you. Well, I won't. We'll see you guys next week
On the Mike and Kindra Show.
Your new favorite, Classic Hits 107.3 KLSI Moreland Woodward. Tell a friend.